Where can we read about your mistakes, Steve?
Oh, Jesse, I'm
on his
so
Twitter
glad you
account.
asked.
Nope.
Well, you can certainly read about it on my Twitter account, but why not read about it on This Team is Ruining My Life, But I Love Them? How I Became a Professional Hockey Fan by Steve Dangle Glynn. Why not? Why not?
Why not?
Read my friggin' book.
Okay, so
Jack Campbell is awesome.
Sorry.
Nylander scores his fourth goal of the series, ties the Montreal Canadiens in terms of goals, meaning that Nylander has as many goals as the Montreal Canadiens do this series.
Through 4 games.
Jason Spezza scores his second of the series and then sets up Thornton. And then you have Galch looking insane. And I kept saying, I'm going to highlight this. Kept saying you can't keep him out of the lineup. Good player. 3 points last night, including the empty netter. That had to sting. I think especially the reason the Montreal media are so mad today is their former third overall pick is a guy that, and listen, I know how it went for Galch in Montreal. It went well, and then it didn't go well, and then it didn't go well in Pittsburgh, and it didn't go well in Arizona, and it didn't go well in Ottawa, and it didn't go well in Carolina?
Minnesota. Carolina, he never got to suit up. He had a lot of didn't go wells.
Right, and this was his last, it better go well.
Here's where the frustration comes. You don't look at that and say the Habs screwed up because they directly went from Galchenyuk to Domi, his best seasons, sold high, got Josh Anderson.
That's fair.
You don't feel bad about that. But you might take a look at the player that Galchenyuk is and his, commitment to just both sides of the puck and feistiness and the ability to the willingness to take on a role that maybe he wasn't used to, or maybe he wasn't willing to before. And you look at that and you go, why couldn't he have done that here?
I think Michel Therrien would be the reason he couldn't have done that there. I think you do blame the Montreal organization for employing that coach for that long.
Some guys have egos for sure, but I think, they talk about the different coaching styles. You gotta, we don't like Pacioretty, and we don't like Subban, and we don't like Galchenyuk. No, listen, everyone good doesn't have the right attitude. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that's the issue here?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you not developing these guys properly? Is there not the right atmosphere, the right culture?
Maybe they're just not exactly the way you were when you were coming up in the NHL, Mark Bergevin.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about this iteration of the Montreal Canadiens because all the guys I just mentioned have been gone for several years. But man, I love Chucky. With a fully healthy roster, I have no idea. I have no idea what you do. The one thing that is definitely going to help keep Galchenyuk in the lineup. It was later in the game. Well, and as evidenced by the fact that he got an empty net goal. But it was later in the game, and they got a line of Nylander, Kerfoot, and Galchenyuk out there defending a lead, and the Habs have an empty net. They're defending the lead against an extra attacker.
Nylander playing defense.
That does not happen last year. That doesn't happen in any year before this.
Mm-hmm.
They move heaven and earth. Babcock or Keefe, they move heaven and earth to get Nylander the hell off the ice. Kerfoot's out there, and Galchenyuk is certainly not. Right. Like there's a reason he seems to only play first or second line left wing.
I'm also pretty sure Kerfoot didn't kill penalties until he became a Leaf, and that's only been this season. And he's been really good.
I don't know if he did in Colorado, but I don't think he did in his brief tenure under Babcock. He also got suspended and suffered a broken face.
There was a lot.
There was a lot. He didn't have a smooth start.
It's interesting that it took 3 injuries to get Galchenyuk in the lineup. Like that's the only reason we're seeing him play right now, and he's been unbelievable. So I wonder, like you said, a healthy lineup. I don't know if he cracks it.
Well, I think that you got to look at someone else coming out, and I know that makes
it now.
Oh well, yeah. Well, obviously,
And listen, bless the guy. He's great depth to have. He's great in case of emergency, break open glass. But the playoffs, boy, they start in a hurry. They start in a hurry. And it was amazing to see Adam Brooks get in the lineup.
Well, that was going to be the next guy I brought up. How do you keep him out of the lineup when Spezza and Thornton work so well with him?
Dude, here's the great thing. They have legitimately 5 full lines of players I'd be completely comfortable with. Maybe even 6. If they had to throw Nick Petan in the lineup, does anyone get nervous?
No, Dennis Morgan's still there, isn't he?
Yeah, no, we haven't seen him this season. He had a great season in Switzerland. Hey, everyone, don't write off the Mason Marchment trade just yet. Doesn't it? Okay.
Mason Marchment would not be on this team. You know,
Mason Marchment, though, that trade would have been a daily discussion with this fan base in years past.
Yes.
But they're so good and they're so deep that we don't really care.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really care. And like I said in the LFR today, would I have taken Rasmus Sandin out of the lineup? No. But if what makes your team sink or swim is swapping Sandin for Dermott, you are never going to win the cup anyway. You weren't even going to win a series. If that roster decision ruins your team, you're done.
Yes.
And that's just not the case.
Yes.
We thought they had depth last year. They actually have depth this year. They're
That's
strong.
right.
And if Foligno's healthy, we don't see Gelch. Also, if this is the regular season next season, Robertson's probably in there.
Yes.
No?
He might be an option later on.
This is a problem that's like great to have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wicked problem.
Mm-hmm.
Give me this problem.
This is it. Oh, it's delicious. Now, I do want to say Travis Dermott, I know they threw him in there to keep him engaged, which, I was like, okay. But
on the road too.
He looked really good. There was yes, this is what we wanted from this is the Travis Dermott we were all hoping for.
There was a moment where Perry and Stahl, they ended up sort of getting behind both him and Bogosian. Bogosian, I thought, did a good job of limiting Stahl as much as he could. But Dermott was aggressive at Perry and really only left him with one option, and that's to make sort of an awkward pass. And if you watch the replay, it's almost identical to what the situation Riley had with Nick Suzuki. But Travis Dermott learned from that and was far more aggressive.
Right.
It's, man, one injury on the Leafs defense of any player over the past few years, they're done. Don't even bother playing the rest of the games. This year, they're fine. They're fine.
Totally fine.
I've never slept this peacefully during the Stanley Cup playoffs. Never.
It's crazy how good the Leafs defense has become when they take out Barry and CC and you add Brody and Bogosian and then a healthier Dermott and Sandin, and all of a sudden this is a really, really solid defense. Especially, and Muzzin can actually play the series. Like I don't remember last time the defense was this good in Toronto.
It's never been. And never been while we've been alive.
No.
It's a team thing as well. The forwards have this new commitment. They're making it easier on the defense. I was watching, I think it was Doug McLean on Line Movement with Nick Kyprios, and he's like, he was talking about the Montreal Canadiens and their complete inability to generate offense, and he's right. But he's like, is the Leafs defense like so big and bruising that you can't get through them? And that's not the issue. It's breaking the line is so difficult. They've always got 2 guys back, and they've always got one of the fastest group of forwards in the NHL barreling down on you from the other end, and they just smother you.
Are you saying line movement is the issue?
Way, you see, because hey. There you go, Doug.
That's
who is that anyway? He doesn't know hockey. No.
Do you know he drafted Jared F that one time?
And also Rick Nash. Did you know that he drafted Rick Nash?
I do hope one day we get Doug McLean on the show. Yeah. That we make fun, but this Doug McLean is well known around the sports and always
for drafting Rick Nash.
But also being probably the best guy to work with ever. Like everybody loved Doug McLean to a person. No one has ever said anything bad about that man. So would love to have him on the show one day. We do have to tease him about that though, because I listened to Doug McLean for 15 years talk about how he drafted Rick Nash and Nick Sherdev. So
I mean, listen, we all have our thing. Mine is I worked at the zoo. His is he drafted Rick Nash first overall. I know which one I would have rather done.
And people are like, whoa, how do you fuck that up? We've seen some pretty bad top 3 picks before. So I think
NHL's history says here's how. Here's a long list of here's how.
Ask the Oilers about 2012. I think it was 2012, right?
Yes. Are you
Yakupov?
talking about Yak?